It was a cold winter night, but that did not discourage more than 100 District 1 residents from coming out to Burning Tree Elementary School for a community conversation with their new council member, Andrew Friedson.
Good evening. Been on the job since December 3rd, and I want to welcome you to our first community conversation.
There was no shortage of questions for the discussion.
Just a whole host of issues.
Residents wanted to know the status of historic cemeteries,
which is the preservation and protection of mostly historic burial sites.
Education funding,
more PEP teachers. That's our preschool education program for preschool students with special needs.
And where things stand with air traffic noise.
I have lived in this neighborhood going on 25 years, and I used to be able to sleep in the summertime with my windows open. Now at 6 o'clock in the morning, without fail, ba-boom, 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 I have earplugs and a pillow over my head, and I still hear it.
I'm really glad you brought it up. It's a huge issue. I was at the Quiet Skies Coalition meeting last week. The leaders of the Quiet Skies Coalition came in to meet. It was one of the first meetings we had. You may know, but some of you may not. We appropriated $125,000 on our end, are partnering with our friends in Northern Virginia in Arlington to have $125,000 from their end to be able to leverage the money more, to get more hours out of an airspace expert. The idea is we don't have the expertise at the county to come up with viable alternatives, and it's unfair to ask community leaders who have done yeoman's work and have been absolutely incredible to be expert.
Another hot button issue, pedestrian safety.
And it does feel like pedestrians are really the last priority of both the Parks Department as well as other construction companies. Bethesda pays a lot of lip service to pedestrian safety and walkability. I don't see it.
Friedson told the audience while on the council he wants to be proactive and address quality of life issues for his constituents.
The good news is, moving forward, there's going to be more of a focus on the, as the projects go through, and we've had a lot of conversations on how we can do an even better job on balancing the safety issues with pedestrian access.
Climate change, as you know, is increasing, and there's continuing to worsen, as you know. So my question is simply, are you aware of the report, particularly a countywide climate action plan to address these problems?
If we're going to ask folks to make an effort to lower their CO2 emissions, the county should lead. Climate is a perfect example of it. But if we're going to ask residents, if we're going to ask businesses to do things to incentivize, the greater good and the public interest, then we ought to be leading those efforts.
Even though the discussion focused on plenty of critical issues, there were moments where Friedson acknowledged his new status.
If you figure out a way to do that, I'd appreciate it.
With a bit of self-deprecating humor.
The second full day I was in office, the first day was a full council session. They made us vote the next morning. I mean, we were fully briefed, don't worry about it.
In the end, Councilmember Friedson walked away from the event.
Look forward to you staying in touch.
With new connections and an even greater appreciation for the community he serves.
You really can't know what's going on in your community unless you're in the community. And you learn a lot more from listening than you do from talking.
So I wanted to know what you're going to do to increase mental health resources in our high schools.
We absolutely need more funding for it. And so tonight really was about that. I answered questions as best as I could, but really the value was hearing from constituents about what issues they really care about. What are the problems that are going on in their communities? What are the opportunities that we have to do better, to do more, and to really build on what has always made Montgomery County such a special place and was always made District 1 one of the best communities anywhere in America.
Reporting from Bethesda, I'm Susan Kenedy.